Oh, and then how one of y'all gonna tell me that while Eve was on her book tour, she admitted that he wasn't a billionaire, but he had millions? How Eve gonna tell more tea on the book tour than she do inside the goddamn book?
I don't hear nobody out there. Hold it down. Hold it down.
I'd only been a part of the talk for 3 days when I knew I wanted to quit that talk show for good. In that short time frame, I had experienced something that had never happened to me before. I was doxxed. It happened right after I gave my thoughts on air about Nicki Minaj's Paper magazine cover for their winter 2017 issue. On it, there are 3 different versions of Nicki. One is sitting in a chair topless, and the other 2 are touching her. Paper was known for their Break the Internet magazine covers. When I first started as a guest co-host on the talk in the fall of 2017, it seemed like a lot of fun. You show up a few times, you offer a few thoughts, and then it's over. After Aisha Tyler left the show, the rotating chair of guest hosts was going to culminate in one receiving a permanent position, and I was in the running for that position. I wanted the job, but I don't think I really understood what the job was until I was permanently in that chair. Once I found out that I was going to be the new co-host, I was excited, but very quickly reality set in. Now I had to expose myself to the public every day. That idea alone seemed scary, but I couldn't even fathom just how scary it was until I saw those pictures of myself online. Here's the thing about my inner peace. I worked so hard to get it. For so long I was without it, and when you're in the thick of the music industry, you don't even know what the hell it even is. I knew firsthand just how bad it can get in your mind and how that can completely destroy you. Pause. I guess Eve didn't understand how powerful them barbs are. Them bitches is terrible. Just like Cardi B's Barty Gang. Some of y'all is okay, and the other is y'all is turning the light switch on and off every day, searching the internet. Y'all be ready to swarm. And Eve found out the hard way, the very hard way. I'm going to quit, I told my stylist, Lexi. That's what I'm going to do. One of the only demands that I had when joining the talk was that I had to bring my own stylist plus hair and makeup with me. Eventually, though, I did use an in-house stylist who was also great. I needed someone that I could trust. Also, if it wasn't for Lexi, who was my longtime friend and knew me well, then I might have quit the show altogether after my doxing. I felt the anxiety building as I told her that I was never heading back on that set again. Yeah, you underestimated them barbs. Them bitches ain't nothing to play with. I don't want no bullshit from you, Barb's or Barty Gang. I don't need that type of stress in my life, okay? Eventually, though, Lexi calmed me down and talked me off the ledge, and I showed back up to work. Thankfully, the internet has a very short attention span, so they forgot about my comment as fast as they were on it. Vulnerability was never my thing. I never really wanted anyone to know that much about what I was feeling outside of maybe the people close to me and my mental health professionals. Even in my music, I'd go there with my emotions, but I never really went there. I had set my own limits to just how extensively I would emote in front of people, even when I was rapping. The talk is what really dismantled that mindset. Mainly because that was the job. Okay, pause in the drawers. How many of y'all believe that Eve only got that job on the talk because she was dating that rich white man? Oh, and then how one of y'all gonna tell me that while Eve was on her book tour, she admitted that he wasn't a billionaire, but he had millions? How Eve gonna tell more tea on the book tour than she do inside the goddamn book? That's what's wearing me out about this book, y'all. It was so weirdly toxic, and people kept coming and going. There was no way those musical chairs didn't look crazy to the rest of the world, and I think the network realized it. Something had to be done to manufacture some cast morale. The crew had asked us to stage a dinner with each other and then invited the paparazzi to show, so that everyone thought we were all friends and went out to dinner together frequently. That happened one time and one time only. Then we were all sent to Las Vegas to watch Marie Osmond and her brother Donnie perform at their show. More paparazzi came, and despite that, Marie left the show a few months after that. By that time, I reached the halfway mark of my time on the talk. Nearly half of the cast that I had started with had already left the show. I don't want to put it all onto my co-host because I started to fit into that culture as well. It's like you become a mean girl when you're surrounded by them. Have y'all ever been to the movies and that motherfucker was terribly slow? I mean, so much so that you like, I can't take it no more. You about to stand on top of them movie chairs, seats, and scream at the top of your lungs, this is some bull. And then the last 10 minutes of the movie is the most exciting part of the entire 3 hours. This is what's happening now. This bitch done gave us more business about the talk show than she done gave about herself. I had to have a reality check with myself yet again to cut the shit and get back to the person that I am. Deep down, I wanted to leave the show, but I didn't want to leave the opportunity. When you're giving commentary all the time, every day about people, in some ways you have to be a mean girl because people don't want to hear you say nice things all the time. Oh, she looked wonderful. Oh, her lipstick matched her shoes perfectly. My saving grace, ironically, was when the pandemic hit and I was isolated from everyone there since I was in London. Even then, you could still feel the unraveling from our laptops. I mean, what the hell? I don't watch the talk like this. Like one of you ladies in the comments was like, maybe she'll give us some tea on the talk. I mean, first of all, I'm not going to read you the entire part because there is a lot more involved in the talk. I'm just not going to talk about it. Okay. But she did speak about the situation that happened with Julie Chen Moonves. Remember what happened? Her husband got swept up in that Me Too movement. It was some things that are said that, you know, like I said, I'm not your Audible. You need to go buy the book and get this lady her goddamn money. Okay, I ain't gonna say just get the lady her money. My co-host wanted to stage a coup to have our producer fired, and so they pulled me to the side to have me speak with the team. You're younger and newer, they said. They'll listen to you. While I understood some of the points they were making, for me, it was the cattiness that had reached a boiling point. When I first arrived on the talk, chaos came soon after. Aisha had left on her own terms, but so many of the co-hosts were on that show for damn near a decade. So I replaced Aisha, then Julie left, then another co-host, then another. Then seats started turning over, and with each one came new personalities that had to assimilate to one another. While that producer eventually did get fired, not really for my co host reasons, but seemingly also his poor handling of Black Lives Matter and the heightened racial injustices that started intensifying during the pandemic, the co hosts who were there the longest still felt like they needed someone new, i.e., me, to complain for them since they weren't being heard. That's the goop, girl. That's the goop. You the new personnel, you don't even know what the f is going on, and all of a sudden they saying, Eve, no, listen to Eve. Eve saw it. Eve, tell him about it, girl. Eve don't know what the fuck is going on. Being on Zoom during quarantine and later in my own studio in London, once things got a little safer, was the distance that kept me there longer. We wanted to talk about that reality TV show Queens. As an older mom, the most important thing to me is being there for every moment in my son's young life. That means sacrificing extended work events if he can't come with me, or turning down opportunities if it means I'll be away from him for too long. I don't want to miss anything. I don't want to look back and regret choosing a job over spending his life with him. After all that time I spent waiting for Wild, that's her son, I'm not taking 1 second with him for granted. I have to be the most available for him and only him, period. I look at my Wild sometimes and just say to him, thank you for choosing me. There were times in my life when I didn't feel safe in this world, and I am just so thankful that I can be his safe place, the one place where he can go and cry when he needs me. I didn't always have that, but I am so happy that he always will. I'm so glad we had this time together. Girl, it's over.
Hollywood, lovely wife and I, baby Carrie. No other stars that come, the sense of God, but it is in Hollywood,